Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Link TV presents Mosaic World News from the Middle East. Here are today's top stories.
Osama Bin Laden issues a warning to France. Far-right Israeli marchers clash with Arab youths. And the Arab World Institute in Paris reopens its doors to Iraq. Mosaic World News from the Middle East begins now.
Al-Qaeda leader Osama Bin Laden sent a message to the French people explaining his reasons for threatening France and kidnapping French citizens.
In a new audio tape released to Al Jazeera and attributed to Bin Laden, he said the abduction of French experts in Niger was the result of French injustice against the Islamic nation.
إنما وقع من أسر لخبرائكم في النيجر والذين كانوا في حمى وأمان وكيلكم.
First of all, the taking of your experts in Niger as hostages while they were being protected by your agent there is a reaction to the injustice you're practicing against our Muslim nation. How is it fair that you participate in invading our country and support the Americans in killing our children and women, and then you want to live in security and peace? How could it be fair that you intervene in the affairs of Muslims, particularly in North and West Africa, support your agents against us, and take a lot of our wealth in suspicious deals, while our people there suffer various forms of poverty and despair?
بينما أهلنا هناك يقاسون ألوانا من البؤس والفقر.
Bin Laden asks in the tape if it is France's right to forbid Muslim women to wear the hijab, then isn't it Al-Qaeda's right to respond by expelling invading Frenchmen?
He added that the way to protect France is to stop its injustices against the Muslim nation.
وإن كنتم قد تعسفتم ورأيتم أن من حقكم منع النساء الحرائر من وضع الحجاب.
If you unjustly thought that it is your right to prevent free Muslim women from wearing the face veil, is it not our right to expel your invading men and cut their necks? The equation is very clear and simple. As you kill, you will be killed. As you take others hostages, you will be taken hostage. As you waste our security, we will waste you and waste your security. The way to protect your security is by stopping all your injustices against our nation. Most importantly, withdraw from this ominous war in Afghanistan. It's time for direct and indirect colonization to end. You should consider what's happened to America due to this unjust war. It came to the verge of bankruptcy in all important fields. Tomorrow, God willing, it will return to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Those who learn their lesson will be happy, and peace will be with those who follow the right path.
Joining us from Paris is the director of Al Jazeera Bureau, Ziad Tarouche.
Ziad, how do you expect France to respond to this direct message from Bin Laden to France?
جمال إلى حد الآن ليس هناك ردود فعل طبعا نحن في انتظار صدور رد فعل من الخارجية أو من الإليزي.
Jamal, so far there has been no reaction. Of course, we're now waiting for the response from the Foreign Ministry or President's office. For sure, this is a strong message to France. It affirms that Al-Qaeda carried out the Niger operation, which abducted 5 French citizens and 2 African employees in September.
في سبتمبر الماضي وكذلك أن الرسالة الثانية
It also confirms that the threats recently mentioned by the Ministry of Interior, French intelligence agencies, and even Moroccan and Saudi intelligence agencies were real existing threats. It proves that accusations that the government manipulated security institutions for internal political purposes are untrue. Another message one may see in the audio tape is that Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb Maghreb, which kidnapped the 5 French citizens, is not separate from the Al-Qaeda Central Command.
هذه رسالة قوية. هذه تؤكد أن تنظيم القاعدة على الأقل ينسق ما بين تنظيماته الفرعية سواء في.
The strong message confirms that Al-Qaeda is at least coordinating with its branch groups in the Arab Maghreb region and in the Arab Peninsula.
في جزيرة العرب.
ولكن زياد يعني هو قدم فعلا تهديدات كما ذكرت، وكأنه يقول بأن القاعدة في
Ziad, as you mentioned, he said Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb was not far from Al-Qaeda Central. But the reason here is with the measures and laws France has adopted, especially regarding the face veil. Do you expect there to be any reaction from French society to this message?
هل تتوقع يكون لهذا الطرح أي رد فعل في داخل المجتمع الفرنسي؟
طبعا هذا الموقف سيزيد من تعقيدات الملف الأمني بشكل عام في فرنسا، فالمطالب السياسية دائما.
Of course, this will further complicate the security issue in France in general. Political demands are often viewed as extremely difficult, unlike material demands which can be negotiated and some of them can be met. Political demands such as repealing the law to ban face veils are troublesome. I can't imagine that France will abolish a law passed by the parliament.
A few minutes ago, the Israeli police fired sound and tear gas bombs to disperse Palestinians who were protesting in response to a march by dozens of members of a right-wing Jewish group in the town of al-Fahim inside Israel's Green Line. The Jewish extremists were calling for the Islamic movement to be outlawed in Israel and for its leader, Sheikh Raed Salah, to remain behind bars for life. The Israeli police had deployed nearly 1,000 officers around the town of al-Fahim in northern Israel in anticipation of the march by the right-wing Jewish group. This is live footage from the town of al-Fahim. Sheikh Raed Salah heads the militant wing of the Islamic movement, which was established in the 1970s. Salah has been jailed several times over his ties with the Islamic resistance movement, Hamas, and over his anti-Israeli government position, especially regarding the Judification of East Jerusalem. Joining us via phone from Jerusalem is Dr. Ahmed Tibi, the head of the Arab Movement for Change. Dr. Ahmed, what's your take on this issue? A confrontation erupted between the Israeli police and Palestinian demonstrators who tried to prevent Jewish activists from entering the town of al-Fahim.
This is a provocative move staged by the Kahane group and the extreme right wing. The Palestinian counter-protest was a normal and expected response. The court's decision allowing the right-wing activists to march in the city was wrong. The Israeli police, instead of preventing the Jewish extremists, attacked the Palestinian counter-protesters, firing tear gas at them. There is no need for this type of provocation against the native people of this land. This protest by the Kahane group aims to expel Arab residents from Wadi Aram, al-Fahim, Taiba, and other Arab villages. This is the main message here. The protest against the Islamic movement is part of a larger campaign launched by this extremist group, which wants to expel Arabs and Palestinians from this land. Again, this reaction by the Palestinians was normal and expected.
The Israeli police had prior knowledge of this protest. They were prepared for it even before the arrival of Jewish activists to the center of al-Fahim, inside Israel's Green Line. Did anyone attempt to prevent it?
No, the march was authorized by the Israeli court and police. The Israeli police set the day and date of the protest. The Kahane group, which marked yesterday the 20th anniversary of Meir Kahane's death, planned the protest to coincide with Meir's death. The group wanted to send a political message that Israel is a Jewish state and Arabs must be expelled. This is the only explanation for how these events unfolded.
This was not the first time a confrontation has erupted here. Other marches have taken place here calling for the arrest of Sheikh Raed Salah, founder and the head of the militant wing of the Islamic Movement of Israel. Do you expect this situation to get worse as the day goes by?
No, I don't think so. At least not today. Having said that, we have been facing a trail of racist campaigns in the form of laws, measures, right-wing protests, authoritarian practices, security and police measures, and others.
Today marks the 20th anniversary of the assassination of Jewish Defense League and Kach leader Meir Kahane. At this hour, family members and supporters are attending a memorial service at Kahane's Jerusalem gravesite. Later this evening, his memory will be commemorated at the Ramada Renaissance Hotel. The American-born rabbi, ultra-nationalist writer, and political figure was an activist for an array of Jewish causes. After creating the JDL in 1968, Kahane emigrated to Israel in 1971, founded the Kach political party in 1980, and was elected to the Knesset in 1984. 1 year later, the Knesset passed an amendment aimed at Kahane, barring parties with racist platforms from seeking election. After delivering a 1991 speech to supporters in New York City, Kahane was shot to death by Palestinian terrorist El Said Nosser. And joining us now to discuss the Kahane legacy is Baruch Ben Yosef, a Jerusalem attorney and a longtime right-wing Jewish activist in the U.S. and right here in Israel. Good evening.
Good evening.
In recent days, the graffiti expression Kahane was right has appeared in several places here in Israel. Perhaps you could tell us, how has the memory of Kahane, or what kind of an impact has he continued to have, his ideological philosophies, both here in Israel and in the States or elsewhere in the world?
Well, for the most part, his major message to the Jewish people in the state of Israel was the impossibility of a Jewish democratic state. And he voiced that opinion already over 30 years ago, that if we want it to be a Jewish state, then we can't have a very, very large minority that demands its own state in place of the state of Israel. And if we want a democratic state, then we have to give up the idea of a Jewish state. That idea, I think, was what caused the hatred to Rabbi Kahane, because he foresaw, I think, what we see today. And a lot of people today understand that his idea was the only solution, that we have to basically find ways to get the minority to be expelled from the country, a minority that threatens our existence as a Jewish state, Jewish democratic state. And I believe he had the only solution. The left at the time and up till this day still believe that they can run away from the confronting this very large minority. And the right wing thought that they could rule over such a large minority, and it can't happen.
How do you respond to charges that such an ideology is severely racist?
It's not racist. It's in fact, the amazing thing is, and I think most people wouldn't believe what I'm saying, but Rabbi Kahane was a great humanist. He foresaw terrible bloodshed between the Jewish and Arab peoples, and he didn't want that to happen. And he saw that the only possible way to avert this is a separation. And because this is the state of Israel, this is the land of Israel, and it belongs to the Jewish people, the Jewish state, his solution was that the Arabs find a solution for their people in any one of the 22 Arab states.
What kind of a following does he continue to have, and why do you think the graffiti continues to appear?
Well, I think every year I go to his memorial and I see new people. I see a lot of young people that weren't even alive when he was killed. And so apparently his message is accepted by many people that understand that he really had the only true solution to the problem. And I believe that as time goes on, I believe the situation will only get worse, and more and more people will understand that he was right.
If Kahane was still alive, what do you think his take on current Israeli affairs would be?
I think he'd be pulling his hair out. I think he wouldn't be able to deal with the situation. It's so bad today. It has gotten to such a point where we see the Arab minority population has become so brazen and bold, and it would just be impossible for him to be in a situation where he can't do anything about it, being that he was banned from the Knesset and lost his one venue to try to gain power and promote his ideas and possibly come to the point where he can bring them into fruition.
The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture said U.S. President Barack Obama has ended the interrogation practices that were prevalent during the Bush era. However, he urged the U.S. to open an independent investigation into the U.S. torture practices since 2001 in both Iraq and Afghanistan.
A UN human rights official asked Washington to investigate the military documents WikiLeaks published. She also requested that the U.S. hand those responsible for killing civilians in Iraq over to the courts. This came at the same time as the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Manfred Nowak, called on the U.S. to conduct an independent investigation into the U.S. torture practices in Iraq. Nowak is known for his critical position on former U.S. President George Bush's policies. He had previously called for closing the Guantanamo prison.
In relation to what now has been revealed by WikiLeaks,
يتعين على الرئيس الأمريكي باراك أوباما.
President Obama, as did his predecessor, has an obligation under the Convention of Torture to independently investigate every allegation of torture or suspicion of torture, and there are plenty of allegations.
also irregular militias.
وتعهد مسؤولون عراقيون بالتحقيق في مزاعم إساءة.
Iraqi officials pledged to probe the allegations of prisoner abuses unveiled by the leaked documents. This could embarrass Noor al-Maliki's government, as he is trying to gain support for his second term. WikiLeaks has uncovered the largest number of leaked documents in U.S. military history. Pentagon officials say more files may be released.
The top Iranian MP says the West is trying to damage relations between Iran and Afghanistan by spreading lies about Tehran's assistance to its neighbor. Aladdin Burujardi says Iran has been officially helping its neighbor over the past years within the framework of mutual agreements. Chairman of Parliament's Foreign Policy Commission says the aid given by Tehran to Kabul has the approval of the Iranian parliament. This comes after the New York Times reported on Saturday that Iran has been making regular payments to Afghan President Hamid Karzai's chief of staff. Karzai has also denied that the payments were secret.
It seems the bargaining table, called by President of the Iraqi region of Kurdistan, Masoud Barzani, is not large enough to accommodate all the political leaders of Iraq. The Erbil meeting between Iraqi political blocs that won elections has turned to separate sessions, including a meeting between Barzani and head of the Iraqiya bloc, Iyad Alawi. After the meeting, the Kurds vowed to boycott the next government if the Iraqiya List was not part of it. Our correspondent Shafiq Abdul Jabbar reports from Erbil.
Iraqi political leaders have converged on Erbil in a bid to reach a political consensus over the formation of the government. This news comes after an initiative was launched by President of the Kurdistan region of Iraq, Masoud Barzani, to invite all Iraqi political rivals for talks in Erbil to help end the government deadlock. On the sidelines of the Erbil meeting, Iraqi officials held separate sessions with Kurdish leaders, including a meeting between Iraqi Vice President Adel Abdul Mahdi and Barzani. In addition, Alawi met separately with Kurdish leaders.
The atmosphere was positive and friendly. Yesterday we had an understanding that several Iraqi leaders would attend the Erbil meeting. Among them was Osama al-Najafi, who came here for the first time, and Saleh al-Muttalaq. The leaders wanted to work out their differences. The aim is to create a good environment that will help our nation achieve further success.
While not everyone is present at the meeting called for by Barzani and Erbil, the Kurdish initiative is still valid. The Kurdish public welcomed the Arab leaders to the Kurdish capital of Erbil in advance.
We would like to seize this opportunity to better serve the supreme interests of Iraq. In order to do so, we must reach a solution acceptable to all sides and groups, which will, in turn, help us form the next government in Baghdad.
Iraqi leaders are still on their way to Erbil. Incoming reports have confirmed that Iraqi Vice President Tariq al-Hashimi is heading to Erbil to meet with Kurdish leaders who are waiting impatiently to sponsor the talks called for by Barzani's initiative in a bid to form a national coalition government. Away from the deteriorating security situation in Baghdad, Iraqi political leaders are continuing to converge on Erbil, the capital of the Iraqi region of Kurdistan. Iraqi leaders hope the Erbil meeting will help them find a solution that will lead to power sharing and a national unity government. From the Kurdistan region's capital, Erbil, Shafiq Abdul Jabbar, Dubai TV.
أمنيا أصيب عضو بحزب الدعوة بانفجار أعبوة لاصقة في سيارته على الخط السريع بمنطقة.
A member of the Islamic Dawah or Call Party was wounded in an explosion caused by a sticky bomb attached to his car. The incident took place on the main highway in the area of Dura, south of Baghdad. In a separate incident, 3 people were wounded, including 2 police officers, in an armed attack in the Rai neighborhood, southwest of Baghdad. According to a police source, armed assailants opened fire last night at a police checkpoint in the Rai neighborhood, injuring 2 police officers and a civilian who was in the area at the time of the incident.
قتل شخص كان يحمل عبوة ناسفة وأصيب 2 آخران أثناء انفجارها في منطقة قطاع 30 بمركز مدينة العمارة.
A bomb went off in the area of Qatar 30 in the center of Imara city, killing the bomber and injuring 2 civilians. The director of media and relations at the Misan police department said that a man carrying a bomb on a motorcycle was killed when the bomb detonated after accidentally falling to the ground. 2 bystanders who were slightly wounded in the blast were transported to a nearby hospital.
كما أصيب 3 مدنيين في انفجار عبوة ناسفة استهدفت منزل أحد المهاجرين شمال بعقوبة.
Elsewhere in Iraq, 3 civilians were wounded in a roadside bomb attack, targeting the home of a displaced Iraqi family in the area of Mansouriya, north of Baquba. A security source said that the blast caused massive property damage to the home. Wijdan Al-Ubaidi, an official working with the Daughters of Iraq group in Baquba, has survived an attempt on her life. 2 of Al-Ubaidi's bodyguards were wounded in the blast from a sticky bomb attached to Al-Ubaidi's car.
Since
the arrest of his father nearly 4 years ago, Abdul Rahman, an Iraqi boy from the city of Samarra, has found himself the sole provider for his 9-member family. To carry out this heavy burden, Abdul Rahman wakes up at dawn to find his food for the day. More details are in the following report.
At the break of dawn, 14-year-old Abdul Rahman leaves his home to navigate through life's hardships in search of work to help provide for his 9-member family. Abdul Rahman has become the father, the brother, and the sole provider for his family, who endure harsh living conditions.
As God is my witness, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I start to work very early in the day. It's very cold in the morning. At noon, I go for another job. I will do anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Yes, I will work all day and in the afternoon. I have no choice. My family depends on me.
Abdul Rahman's father, who has been in prison for nearly 4 years, transferred responsibility of the family to his son. Abdul Rahman had no choice but to drop out of school and find a job to earn a living, which has become difficult in Iraq, a country once known as the land of giving.
Abdul Rahman was in 4th grade when he dropped out of school. After his father was imprisoned, Abdul Rahman quit school and started to work. He leaves home at 5 o'clock a.m. and returns at 1 p.m. After eating lunch and changing his clothes, he takes his net and heads to the beach. He brings home fish, but sometimes he doesn't catch any.
He's a restless young boy whose main concern in life is to provide for his family. These tragic stories seem unreal, but in Iraq they have become part of life. Will Abdul Rahman's story get the attention of the Iraqi government, or will it fall on deaf ears?
The Arab World Institute was established in Paris in 1980. It is a law-abiding cultural institute with a mission to introduce Arab culture to the Western world.
Iraq is once again participating in the Institute's activities after being completely cut off from it for 2 decades. The French public now has a chance to get to know the civilization and culture of the country of the two rivers.
For 2 decades, Iraq was cut off from all aspects of international activities, especially cultural activities. In the past, a large number of international organizations closed their doors to creative works from Iraq. But now, Iraqi creatives seem to be able to reach the farthest places on earth. The Arab World Institute in Paris, considered one of the most important cultural palaces in the world, has now reopened its doors to Iraqi arts and literature. Iraq was one of the co-founders of the institute.
لرواد الفن والأدب العراقيين. العراق هنا عزيز علينا، بلد عزيز علينا، وبلد من مؤسس.
Iraq is very dear to us. It is a co-founder of the Arab World Institute.
1987 هو موجود هنا وقمنا بنشاطات كثيرة.
From its establishment to 1987, the institute held many activities about Iraq.
الحرب اللي موجودة الآن في العراق.
But after sanctions and the war on Iraq, the institute had to temporarily suspend its activities in Iraq.
من طرف معهد العالم العربي ولكن لأسباب أدت إلى.
This was not to isolate Iraq, but due to certain reasons, problems and obstacles.
مشاكل مالية.
يعد معهد العالم العربي مؤسسة ثقافية خاضعة للقانون.
The Arab World Institute is a cultural organization that abides by French law. Its mission is to introduce Arab culture to the world. 18 Arab countries, including Iraq, came to an agreement with France when it was established in 1980. Today, the Institute is preparing to hold various activities about Iraq and introduce its rich cultural legacy to Western audiences.
Now we have programs and projects to introduce Iraq to the French and European people through the Arab World Institute. It is the biggest Arab cultural palace in the West and in the world. This means introducing Arab culture, especially the brilliant Iraqi culture, to the French, European, and Western people.
Iraq is entering a new era of booming culture and knowledge. Not only government institutions, but many Iraqi cultural organizations and civil communities involved in culture and arts are all participating and exhibiting their intellectual products. They are inspired by the rich heritage and knowledge in the country of the two rivers.
من تراكمات المعرفة في وادي الرافدين.
احنا مستعدين متفتحين فيما يخص العراق.
We in Iraq are ready to embrace any initiative. We will accomplish it, and we will have enough experience to introduce this great Iraqi legacy.
للتعريف بهذا التراث العراقي العظيم.
زمن الحصار الثقافي على العراق.
The time of cultural siege on Iraq is over. The closed doors now seem to be open. One of these doors leads to this institute. Now it is possible for all the creative people in Iraq to go out into the world. From the Arab World Institute in Paris, Saif Al-Hayar, Al-Iraqiya.
The views expressed on Mosaic are from contributing broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible from support of viewers like you. Thank you. Watch Mosaic World News online. Stay up to date with breaking news. Read our blog. Get transcripts of past shows and more at linktv.org/mosaic.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs, programs which connect you to the world.